Lights, camera, action! We're shooting threes, just SMB. We're gonna watch and review film trilogies. It's all for laughs, so just sit back. We're gonna drop dimes on this podcast.
Hey everybody, welcome to Shooting Threes.
And thank you if you pay to listen to this.
And
We
shout
really
out
appreciate
to our
it.
patrons who pay to listen to this. Shout out to y'all hearing this 8 days early. And if you're listening to this for free, also thank you for listening. My name is Sarah Griffith.
My name is Bridgett Greenberg.
And we are on number 2 of 3 for, well, actually maybe 2 of 4 technically, but 2 of 3
It's
for
still
our
3.
purposes of the Matrix. This is the Matrix Reloaded.
Correct.
I have so much to say about this movie.
I'm excited to hear it all because I honestly do not.
Okay, you've seen this movie before.
I have.
Let's talk about that.
I've seen this movie before. I did not remember it.
Okay.
Or I barely remembered it. I knew the gist of what happened and I knew what the cool scenes were. And they were much cooler when I saw them originally to me.
Okay.
But yeah, overall, I find this movie significantly less interesting than the original Matrix.
Sure.
I think the original Matrix explored, and this is kind of a recurring theme I might have with franchises, is that in the first movie, The Matrix, they explore, it's like one interesting philosophical idea that we are exploring and kind of unpacking. In Matrix 2, it's a lot of different ideas that are half explored and not nearly as interesting or specific as what we explore in 1.
Yes.
And I think this is a pitfall that a lot of franchises that were not planning to make franchises but then made a bunch of money fall into, is that they're like, we told our story, we explored our theme, did it need to be explored more, or are we just gonna dig ourselves into a hole? And I do think this is overall what this movie does.
Okay. I had not seen it prior to.
Yeah.
I just watched it last night, so just a frame of reference, I'm hot. And we also just watched a little bit of it now.
Yeah. I was lazy and Sarah walked in while I was, an hour into the.
You watched the last hour of it, but you know what? That's okay, because my impression of this film prior to me seeing it is that it's fucking garbage. It sucks. That's what I always heard. I also weirdly, when this movie came out, I was super into reading Mad Magazine. I'm like an old school satirist. I read the National Lampoon.
You're a humorist.
I read Mad. Yeah, exactly. I'm like pretty intellectual in this way. And like they did a whole issue that was parroting the Matrix Trilogy.
Okay.
And so that was my impression of this film. So I always thought like, oh, everybody saw this movie and thought it was stupid.
Right.
Can I tell you without a hint of irony, I loved this film. I am so serious. I was in hook, line, and sinker. Now, it's not a great piece of film. I definitely have my notes. I definitely have my criticism and critiques. But I am blown away at how much this really got me, dude.
Really?
I am fully
that
red-pilled.
surprises me and doesn't.
I am fully red-pilled. And honestly, I got to the end of this movie thinking, I feel like I've been lied to, because my whole life I've always heard that these movies like fucking suck dick and ass. No, they do not. This one actually fucking rules. Yes. These are good movies. I mean, I haven't seen the third one, but this I genuinely enjoyed watching, and at the end of it, I'm telling you, I was blown away at how much I liked it and how much I've been thinking about it nonstop since I stopped watching it.
So you had reverse hype.
I actually think because the bar was so hot garbage low that I was able to be more into it, because just the sheer fact that like things happen in this movie that were like actually cool and interesting to watch. I was like, oh, well, this is much better than what I expected. Again, now without my notes, I have my criticisms. It's not a perfect film, of course. I'm just saying on a personal level, I am all fucking in. And dare I say, I'm actually excited to see the next one, which I also have not seen ever.
I will say
that it's good and you're wrong.
Never. I will say two things, and that I did there were parts of it that I enjoyed more than I thought I would rewatching it.
Yes, because it's a good movie.
Again, not going that far. And then I will say I did, once you walked in, and maybe this is just,
my energy of loving this film was radiating, and you're like, actually, I'm turning around on this.
Yeah, we can do that. We can say it's a testament to our friendship, but I did have more fun when like someone was reacting to the movie with me. So
I don't think you ever saw me, but I'm not kidding. I had a small grin on my face watching the last hour of that.
No, you were very happy when you walked in and saw what part I was at.
Oh, well, you came in. I came in right at the freeway.
Yes, which we'll talk about.
Yes.
Yeah, so there are like, it wasn't as bad as I was hoping, but was I bored and is it too long? Yeah.
Oh, sure. So why don't we dive in? So right out of the gate, so I, again, kind of was young when this came out and wasn't really paying attention. Yeah. Did not clock that this movie and Matrix Reloaded, the third one, came out in the same year.
Yes.
Which I think is awesome.
It's insane,
and
but yes.
It is insane. And I think, though, this is like one of the few times where that to be continued was a little bit like when I saw it, I was like, well, if the next movie came out in just a few months, I wouldn't be pissed off as an audience member, but be like, all right, cool.
Do you know what the release date of 3 was?
Yes, it was November of 2003, and I think this one came out in like May 2003.
Oh.
Earlier 2003?
Yeah.
Like it was a matter of months in between them coming out.
Okay, that's
which I think is actually cool for a to be continued film to just like fully be like, just wait a few months.
Sure, I think
and come back.
I think that's a good strategy. Keep interest up, especially. Sure. I do think that as a studio knowing.
Totally.
A little bit that.
Totally. I mean, they filmed...
if you came from the Matrix to watch this film, it is not the heady psychological sci-fi.
Yes.
That you're looking for. It tries to be in some cases.
Yes.
And it's not. It doesn't work.
Yeah. These two films were filmed obviously in the same time. Like they just shot these motherfucking movies. Here's the other thing, which I did some like. I didn't do as much reading for this one as I did for The Matrix. But I did read some like kind of initial reviews and even some reviews that people have like revisited the film and talked about since. And I've heard people bitch about the fact that going into this film, a lot of the canon of this universe starting in this film was actually created in their animated series, which I think no shit was called The Animatrix.
Yeah, I do think that is correct.
Which
I've never watched that, so I can't speak to it.
Yeah, because like at the beginning, it is like that guy's like, oh yeah, I saved his life, so now he's like super in my asshole. And then you're missing some of the original crew member from the Nebuchadnezzar. Those things, Niobe. Apparently, all these things are introduced in the animated series.
Huh. Okay.
But I didn't feel like I needed my hand held. It was just kind of like. No, time has passed, and obviously these things have happened, and I have enough information to piece it together.
Yeah, I think it works without that, too.
Yeah.
I mean, I think as a Star Wars fan, it's when people bring in the novelization that things get bogged down.
Yeah.
In canon that you're like, does that work? Do we need all of this?
I also will say, as a Star Wars fan, like, going into Zion, there were a lot of times that, there was just even, like, mild world building, but I'm like, whoa, how are they thinking of this?
Really?
There's rules in this universe and there are things like that's so crazy how they have it defined so clearly. But anyway, so let's go through the plot.
Yeah.
We start the film within a dream sequence with Trinity, who fucking rules.
Amazing.
And I love
it's a great opening sequence.
Yes.
It's an incredible opening sequence. It did get me hyped for the rest of the movie.
Yes. Also, I don't know if I watched the trailer before I watched the movie. The trailer rules.
Okay, yeah, I would
very hard fucking rules. Carrie-Anne Moss also fucking
incredible
rules. She is really good at knowing how to use her face on camera, which I know that might sound stupid, but if you know, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of stoic looks.
But she does it really well.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, you can look just blank. She does it.
Yeah.
She has a very...
she does it always with like a sense of purpose and intent. And even though it's not showing on her face, it's in her eyes.
Do you think if she had a different haircut, that would work as well?
Oh, no, it has to be.
It has to be, yes. Yeah, the haircut, the hair is doing a ton of work. I mean, obviously the hair in the wardrobe. are doing a ton of work here, which is no knock on that's part of filmmaking.
Yeah, no, Academy Award wardrobe, costume, hair, absolutely.
That's not a knock on the movie. That's part of filmmaking.
Yeah.
And it does.
No, her whole look.
It is iconic.
Fucking awesome. I literally wrote down Trinity is iconic.
Yeah, without like that term is overused, but like it truly
is.
No,
but this is where we are using it very literally because what an icon. Anyway, so we start. She is in this action sequence. She flies out the window. She gets shot. Neo wakes up. We know it's a dream. Maybe a foreshadowing. Maybe he's dreaming the future.
Maybe a prophecy.
Maybe we don't know. And they wakes up on the Nebuchadnezzar, and then they like go to Zion.
Yeah, he wakes up next to her.
Yeah.
And also, which is confusing because they also act like they haven't seen each other in months.
Yes, it's they're very new. It's new. You know when it's new.
I mean, they keep saying like, I missed you.
It's new. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
They probably can't be like fucking and tonguing when they're on their little Matrix missions.
That's true. They can only do it at the Zion
I
orgy.
think the rule is you can only fuck in Zion, which is where we get to. Right? We're not missing anything.
I mean, pretty much. Yeah. We know the.
You just watch this.
I know. No, we get the information that the Sentinels are attacking Zion, and all ships are going to dock there.
Yes.
So that's just a transition.
Right. So they get to Zion, and again, there's a lot of characters there that like obviously have an established backstory with our characters, which again, like I don't need to watch the animated series to like figure it out. Like I think they do a pretty decent job of being
they explain
this is who this is and that's who that is.
They have beef. This is why like the emperor the emperor chose butt chin over Morpheus.
Right.
And
because this is 2003, of course I'm thinking of Attack of the Clones. What the hell was in our minds when it came to like sci-fi that's like
there's a Senate.
We need bureaucracy.
Yes.
In our science
Sci-fi
fiction.
needs a giant Senate.
Please, I'm begging you not to do that anymore.
It's awful. It is the least interesting part of any movie.
Oh my God. It's like,
the bureaucracy.
Yep.
We all need to take a vote.
That said, I do have a spec script. It is a political thriller about why the Gungans were outcast on Naboo in the first place and how that fell apart.
All right.
And if anybody listening wants to hear it, Venmo me $50. I will email it to you. So
you hear that, Jon Favreau?
I hope
you hear that?
Listening. Actually, I have a point to make about Jon Favreau later, which I can't believe
we don't.
Yes, I do. I do. So anyway,
as pertains to this movie,
as it pertains to this film,
then I'll allow it.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Sit down, listen to me talk about how Jon Favreau has everything to do with this film.
Jesus.
But in any case, we're in Zion. Mm-hmm. We see like the little characters. We're kind of getting a feel of like what the other human beings are like.
Yeah.
Which I appreciated seeing all this.
Sure, weirdos.
It was like, oh, yes. Right.
Yeah.
We've heard that there are other human beings alive. Now we're seeing them. There's real stakes in this game, and they're human.
Yeah.
And part of being human is absolutely fucking the shit out of
that is what it means to be human. He's like, no, we're going to remind these Sentinels what it is to be human. And what does that mean?
Going to come. Fuck. We are going to fuck and come. And party.
That's what unites the damn human race.
Exactly. That's what separates us from machines is fucking.
And that is a long scene that needs an editor.
Yeah. So we start the scene off with Morpheus giving like a very, like he's like giving a sermon.
It's like it's the Braveheart speech essentially, but they're
which
not
also
going
too long.
And it's a Braveheart speech.
Every monologue in this movie is like,
cut it
seriously, half a page.
Lana, cut it down.
Get rid of it. It's we gotta go.
Yeah. No, it's the Braveheart speech for fucking instead of going to war.
But I like that Morpheus double downs as a character as being like a true religious zealot.
Yes.
I like how that dynamic affects literally, I mean, his entire character and how he interacts with everything.
That is a good point. I do like that he comes off the ship and we're no longer just in his little echo chamber of he's
right and we all trust him.
Oh, Captain,
and you
my
have
captain.
to trust him as he explains.
Yeah, it's very, oh, Captain, my captain. And then you get to meet the other humans and they're like, no, he might be crazy.
Yeah.
He might be wrong. Yes. Which like we never stop to consider that this could all be, he could be wrong.
Yeah, again, like the Zion shit just like blew my mind because leaving the first Matrix, there's so many infinite possibilities of what you want to do as a sequel.
Yeah.
To open it up to like everybody else in this world. For some reason, I didn't expect it, I think.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
I kind of figured it'd be self-contained with that crew and maybe like 1 or 2 more characters added.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only way they can go because, again, with like the first movie, it is such just a thought experiment of a movie.
Yes.
Truly, and that's what makes it good, is that it's a very interesting thought experiment that kind of leaves an open-ended question. So where do you go from that except for explore that thought experiment a little further? And sometimes the problem with thought experiments is they have a conclusion.
Yeah, or if you want to expand on it at a certain point, doesn't it just become a philosophy class?
Yes.
Because I'll be honest, there were some episodes of The Good Place that, as someone who had to take philosophy courses in college, I was like, all right, Jesus fucking Christ, I want to be entertained by a comedy. Like, goddamn, can I get one episode where we're just like goofing off?
It's not even...
I like The Good Place mostly, but some episodes were just like...
I agree with that. That's definitely where it gets a little boring is, you know, it's a little too much Oracle and is she right? And like it never lands or leads to one idea or another. And you get that like there's a lot to be made of this movie of like choice. Obviously, that's the whole thing.
Yes.
Do you have free will? Is this all written? How do you know? All that kind of stuff. And the movie continues to say, well, you can't know.
Yeah.
You just have to trust. And like, that's not very interesting to explore.
Oh, I completely disagree. I think this is the greatest film ever made.
Yeah. In 2.5 hours, you're just like, okay, well,
yes,
we don't know. And you're going to keep proving that point, and it's going to get samey.
Yes. So being sort of familiar with the Wachowskis' other work, and I'm thinking specifically of Sense8.
Okay.
Do you think these gals have like a group sex kink? Because they go to the group sex well in more than one of their bodies of work.
Sure.
What does that reveal? What does that reveal about them?
I mean, what I took away from the big orgy scene is...
Which, unironically, I loved. I was so into. Sincerely, I was like, this is fucking awesome.
It was shot really well. It was shot really cool.
Yes!
It's too long.
Sure.
It's too long.
Yes.
But the point I was going to make, it's shot really well because it keeps going from you know, the Neo Trinity scene to the larger party that's going on outside. And it kind of like, it really focuses on human body and form, even though they have all these things sticking out of them.
Yes. And I love like...
And they kind of like, what is interesting to me is when they pan through bodies, it is hard to tell at some point, like who's a man, who's a woman. Like it's just bodies.
It really is. And you know what? I will also say 2 things about that. One, the nudity of Trinity and Neo, they don't ever show like actual parts, but we see their ports, which I think is very vulnerable. Like they just have these open ports on their body.
Everybody does.
And that is like what is almost being highlit in the camera work. It's so good. And then I'm just hypersensitive to this because since like I would say 2014, we become really conscious about like inclusion on screen. And are we seeing different kinds of people who actually represent human beings on screen? And this is released 2003. That Zion Rave, like this is an effortlessly diverse cast. You know what I mean? Like this is not we're going to plant a flag and make a statement here. It's truly like, it's just such a robust, and not just the people in Zion, but like all of our new characters that we're introduced to. Like it's a pretty robust filling out of like different kinds of human beings. Like not even talking specifically about race, but like age, gender, abilities. Like it's pretty cool to see. You're
right. The one thing I will point out is that when the elevator door opens and Neo is treated like the Messiah, it is 2 white people coming out of an elevator.
That is tough.
To be thanked by a room of like people of color.
That is
exclusively.
Yeah, that is tough.
That one was the...
We keep making that mistake, though, quite frankly.
Honestly, you can point that out probably in any movie that's come out.
But definitely, no, he is the one.
Yes.
But like we talked about last time, if you look at Neo as like truly a gender fluid, like kind of anomaly character.
Yeah.
That almost... Visually, it doesn't absolve him of anything.
Yeah. He's a white guy.
Metaphorically, I get it. Also, Keanu Reeves... personally is white Asian actor representation. Okay. I look at him and I think yes.
Okay.
I see you. So he is my white Asian savior, actually.
You're what? I'm gonna avoid that.
Yeah, no, so we're in Zion. Neo has that dream again. He has that conversation with like, who gives a fuck? Like that whole scene where that guy is talking to him about,
oh my God, could not care less.
Cut that whole scene. I don't even know what they say. I don't even know what the importance is. And I love this movie.
I don't even remember what the guy's face looks like.
No, honestly, I have.
And I watched it again moments ago.
I have filled in what he looks like with like a member of the Lollipop Guild because his hair is kind of done in that kind of fucking way. But other than that, yeah, if there was anything important in the scene, I did not catch it. Then we get to kind of like the crux of the film that it's like Sentinels are coming to destroy Zion. They have a meeting. Okay, so this actually kind of took me a second to get used to in this film. They go in between like the real world and the Matrix so effortlessly sometimes.
Yeah.
That like I actually did catch myself being confused. And when they had that initial meeting inside the Matrix, the costume should have been a dead giveaway.
Right, yeah.
But just because they were in the Matrix having like a parlay,
yeah,
it felt a little bit
weird.
like, oh, you guys really trust that the agents aren't going to immediately find y'all.
Yeah, it gets a little muddy about like what the rules are inside of the Matrix.
Which the agents do find them.
Yeah, they do. Like anytime they're in the Matrix, it is a matter of time before the agents come.
That is true.
But it is a little like, I don't know. It's a little muddy. They kind of just show up when they want to, and however fast they want to.
I will say, being a Star Wars fan, but not only that, being a Doctor Who fan, I am very used and conditioned to holding on to the logic of science fiction on a fucking string and a prayer. So I am okay.
Sure.
Like I felt like the whole time I was watching this movie, I was walking a tightrope.
Yeah,
And somehow I managed to stay on and get to the end and truly enjoy the experience. But every scene of this movie, I was teetering on like, am I still into this or is this like not good for me anymore?
That is, again, a problem with this movie because it is less interesting that I am more willing to nitpick it when they're in the Matrix. Because really, you know, when they're in the Matrix and whatever the rules are in there, they hold together enough. There are plot holes, but like I'm not during the movie thinking about this. I just notice when I am getting less interested in the movie. And it is when they are explaining or giving caveats to the rules.
And they do that a lot.
And this movie is a lot of that.
Well, they have that meeting in the Matrix. They basically just explain that like the Sentinels are coming to destroy Zion. Morpheus, again, being the zealot, is like, we need to talk to the Oracle because she would know.
Right, what happens.
And we got to hold it down for our people. And how we can do that is by figuring out in here, basically, because she would know better than anybody because he still is such a follower of this.
Right.
Agents show up. They're looking for Neo. They give him a package. It's the earpiece that Agent Smith used to have in his ear.
Uh-huh.
And then the other agents burst in. Neo's like, I'll take care of this. Whoop-ah! Knocks their ass out.
Yeah.
Done. No problem. He flies away.
Amazing.
I love
a little stupid.
Nope. I love the flying.
It was.
I love the flying. It's very theatrical. And he flies with like a twirl, almost like a real flourish. I love it.
I definitely am looking at this in 2021 and I'm like, oh, this movie is 95% cartoon.
And I have a point to make about this that involves Jon Favreau, which we'll get to. But seriously, you can't even be like, look, it's 2003. I'm watching what I'm watching. Not even, because that was probably posts that they had in 2001 and 2002.
Yeah, I understand. It looks stupid now.
I don't know.
And I can't get around that.
I'll allow it.
I'll allow it.
It looks fucking bad, but like so does everything that came out.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. That's not like a Matrix issue I have.
Yeah.
It's just like I chuckle now, and I knew I wouldn't have chuckled in 2003, and I'm very well aware of that. But it does look silly now, and I cannot get around it.
No, I'm kind of. And there's a nostalgia I have for
Sure.
that very specific kind of.
I understand it, but there is just a chuckle that comes out naturally.
All right, you want to laugh at somebody's hard work? Okay, fine, Bridgett.
I mean, look, it was
People
great. People
toiled away making that little silly twist he did.
He's doing the Superman thing again.
Oh, and the Superman pose I would have cut from the film. Period.
Yeah,
Just goodbye.
that's what I
Goodbye.
think about.
That one sucked. But
that's what I think about.
The initial fly up, and he kind of like twirls around.
Yes,
but he goes to the.
That's cool. I just think of the Superman fly right away, and then if you haven't watched this movie yet and are now planning because of this podcast, take and drink and like to partake in alcohol.
Yes.
Take a drink anytime they do a superhero landing after they fly.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But
I would say,
yeah,
is this not the origin of some of those superhero villain and hero poses? Because again,
it has to be
so early.
It has to be. They do the Black Widow land.
Oh yeah,
so many times in this movie.
Again, Jon Favreau plays a role in this conversation.
Oh God.
So Neo goes to the Oracle's apartment. She's
you also I think you skipped over when they're having this conversation. Obviously, the foil to Morpheus, his arch enemy within Zion.
Oh yeah,
is arguing like, no, we need to fight for here. We need all the ships docked here to fight off the Sentinels. And Morpheus is like, no, we kind of need to go on the attack and know what they're thinking. There's someone I know who's a step ahead. He doesn't believe them. We're talking to the ultimate commander who, and this is. There's so many side characters in these movies that look like actors. Like the Emperor, I was like, John Voight?
Yes, I'm so glad you said that because there were a few times that I was like, God damn, is that somebody that I know?
Yeah, there was a second where I thought that guy was John Voight. I always think the architect for a second is Donald Sutherland.
And he easily could
have been Donald Sutherland.
Sean Connery was originally in that role.
Yes. It could have been Donald Sutherland because it's the same role he plays in Hunger Games.
It is the exact same role, yeah.
And then there's someone helping Trinity on the Nebuchadnezzar who could have been Julianne Moore.
Yes.
Yes.
But
these are my points.
No, that was a good. Thank you for bringing that. As someone who just watched the film, these plots back. So goes the Oracle. It's empty. Do they go back to the Nebuchadnezzar to like rally? Because my next memory is that Neo goes in to talk to the Oracle and he is intercepted by Seppa. Is that his name? The Oracle's bodyguard, basically.
I don't remember.
And
his name.
he said something like,
cool fight scene where they.
Well, he said something like the only way you could talk to the Oracle, and I jokingly said out loud is by kicking my ass, but he literally was like, by fighting.
Yeah.
Which brings me to one of my many points about this film. This is the point of the film where I realized I'm watching a video game.
Yes.
I'm watching a very early video game,
mm-hmm.
and it's actually working for me because to me, it is playing into the technological angle of this film and also the transmedia aspect about the fact that this is both a film and an animated series and now also a video game. As I have come to learn through this series, like a lot of the Matrix canon and lore is based in like video games. I'm similar to Star Wars, but this shit is actually canon and it matters. It is like a multimedia event.
Yeah.
And so when I realized it's a video game and these are bosses you have to beat, this is when, again, on that tight wire, I started to be like, okay, I think I've got my footing here.
Yeah.
Like, I think I can move forward on this. Because honestly, at the end of that Oracle scene, which we're going to get to, I was a little bit like, boy, I could really go either way on this film.
Yeah. I mean, that fight scene with all the Smiths that happened after.
We're going to get to that.
The scene between the one-on-one fight. Yeah, I kind of wish they did that a little more practically, but it was still pretty cool.
Yeah, but when you remember that the origin of some of this choreography is from like the classic kung fu movies where like they're on wires and they're flying and it is...
No, I'm fine with wires. Wires are fine with me.
But you're not fine with like the really fast punching and shit like that?
The CGI is what takes me out of it because also they look bored while they're fighting when they're doing that.
Oh yeah, it's a very stylized performance that they're obviously directed to do.
Right. I don't like when they look bored fighting.
But then I think of it like, and I'm really going to make a point now. It's like mask work in the theater where you can't use your face to show emotion, so you have to use your physical body.
Right.
And in a world where no one's human and you can't like shake hands and look people in the eye and see what they're thinking, like maybe actually fighting is really the only way you get to know a
but
person.
But here's my point about doing it in that CGI style then, is that it takes the lifelike movement out of people's bodies. They then look very...
But is that not the world anyway?
I mean, at least not for Neo.
Is that not the established rule
maybe
by
for
this
the
point?
other guy, but for Neo, he should be human. He should look human.
I don't know. I saw him do shit in the first movie that is inhuman.
Yes, absolutely. But they just rely on it too much in this movie, I think is the point I'm making.
I mean, definitely. They go to that well, but I think also I'm willing to forgive it because when that well was fresh,
it was cool.
It's why wouldn't you dive deep into the post-production CGI of it all when this is brand new material you get to work with for the first time.
It just looks very static to me, and it's not a super dynamic way to shoot a fight scene.
Sure. It's such an insignificant fight anyway.
It very much is. I mean, the fight then goes to prove, because this guy seems to be in lockstep with Neo.
Yeah.
That the Oracle and everybody around her
it's kind of like when you play a video. I think there's a specific term for this, but it's a boss who isn't a boss. It's more the things where it's the video game is programmed where you, the player, are getting used to controls. So they'll give you these easy villains that you're supposed to beat.
Right. Yeah.
Just so you know,
the tutorial.
This
the
your footing, or you've learned a new skill, so let's practice that skill.
Yeah. To me, that scene is more set up to the point that the Oracle is a program, and that there are these, and so is her bodyguard, and that there are these programs who are deviant from the master.
Yeah, well, it is almost just like a computer virus if you think about it.
Sure, yeah. But yeah, I think it just goes to prove, since this guy, I think it's just a good, interesting way to introduce the idea that, there are programs that can keep up with Neo, that there are deviant programs, and that, he's not always going to be one step ahead.
Yes.
Of everything. And, introduce the idea of what the Oracle actually is.
And the importance, because before we met her, it was by appointment essentially, and this is more of no, I need to see her now, and I'm looking for her, and that's how they even know that he's coming. So he does this fight. They're cool. They take Neo in through the back way of the Matrix, which I do also love this idea that there are portals and channels you can write into and just kind of because it is a fucking computer program anyway.
Right. There is a front end and a back end.
Yeah. Comes out, we see the Oracle. I love every Oracle scene, but this scene was truly when I was I'm going to decide. This is the scene where it's going to decide for me whether or not I am super into this movie or I can't be bothered. That's how I felt when it got to that point.
And
I'm fucking in. I'm so fucking in. The Oracle says, I literally wrote this down. Oh, the notes I took. Because I literally could not stop thinking about this film.
This scene is one that goes on too long for me.
It does. Like I said, every monologue, and they do this a lot where Neo talks to one person at a time.
Yeah.
And all those scenes are too long, which brings me to a point that I do want to make, and I'll probably continue to make. And it's not a compliment. It's a matter of fact. This is very Shakespearean to me.
Yeah.
Because Shakespeare loves to do shit like this. And loves to introduce things for the sake of being now isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Moving on.
Here's a thought that is going to permeate.
Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. We were kidnapped by pirates and went on a few months adventure.
Yeah.
Hamlet. Oh, I don't know anything about. Yeah, you guys go ahead with the rest of the play.
Yeah.
Literally shit out of nowhere.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I think this is definitely where we get into my issue with the movie, is that one, the thought experiment they present is kind of beaten over the head here.
It is.
And it's not as interesting, in my opinion.
So you say. Okay, so this is the quote I wrote down. The Oracle tells Neo, "You've made a believer out of me." And so I wrote down the question. So did the Oracle really not know that Neo was the one? Because if you remember, in the first movie, she tells him, "You're not the one."
Right.
But then later Morpheus says, the Oracle tells you what you need to hear. And we agreed that Neo needed to hear that he wasn't the one so that he could become the one.
Yes.
And in this film, getting a little bit ahead, the Oracle is talking to Neo you are the one. And this is what's going to happen. You have to go to the source. She kind of repeats what Morpheus has kind of been beating his drum about this whole fucking time.
Right.
But it's like, in this case, he needed to hear that because who else could have walked through the door? Which I have more to say about that, but to stay with the Oracle. Cool scene, too long, too wordy. It's just too many wordy. Words. Way too wordy.
It's not presented like the idea.
And I think this is why I've been thinking about it more after I've stopped watching it, because as I was watching it, it really was like, oh my God, I need to like stop and think about, like process the words they were just saying. It's kind of like, you know, when you read a tweet and there's just so much academic language in it, you're like, bullshit. Like, you're using a thesaurus. Like, no one talks like this.
Yeah.
That was definitely an issue.
It definitely read like she was reading out of a philosophy textbook.
Yes.
Which, also probably didn't help make me feel like it was an interesting point. I also don't think like the ultimate question is as interesting as like questioning the nature of reality and then questioning like, you know, do you choose to live like, is ignorance bliss, or what is your like what is your obligation as a human?
Well, there's also like, what is your purpose in life? That's a huge theme for this film.
For this film, purpose. Like, I mean, Agent Smith is constantly trying to take his purpose.
What I kept finding so interesting is the question of what does it mean to be a human being when you are so removed from what you recognize, what you thought you recognize as humanity.
I think that, I agree that is an interesting question, is like what separates a human from a machine, since in the scene with the main commander, I forget what his role, John Voight, knockoff. That is a quote where they realize like machines and humans need like, Neo makes the point, well, we can unplug the machines. Those are the good machines.
Oh, and then the conversation of, well, they need us and we need them.
The nature of control. Yeah, that symbiotic relationship. So no one is truly in control because...
the choice is an illusion.
Exactly. Yeah. And then, so the water gets a little muddy here.
It's a lot, which again is also very Shakespearean, where it'll be like an assault of language, which is very beautiful, don't get me wrong. Shakespeare, at least.
They use words pretty, but
then it's like you get to the bottom of, you know,
the word puzzle,
a soliloquy, and then you're like, now I need to stop and think about, like, what did I just intake?
You do that, and then with this, at least, I don't think it holds that much water. Ultimately, I mean, that's for you to decide.
That's your opinion.
No, truly it is. It truly.
No, but I actually don't disagree with you. For as much as I do like this movie, I do not disagree with you on that.
Yeah, like I think again the question that the original one poses about the nature of your reality and what you choose to do with that knowledge, is such a more interesting rabbit hole to go down intellectually, I guess. And I guess. What choice you have when choice doesn't matter, ultimately.
Yes.
And it's kind of a dead end of a thought.
And you've talked about how the first one is so thoughtful. There's something that I like about this sequel being like really plot driven and not so much, because I do appreciate when a sequel is like, let's do something a little different.
I like the idea of then expanding that world and expanding that thought and taking it to conclusions.
It's just a little sloppy.
But I think they tried to also add too much to it. I think if they just played within those rules of
definitely it could be so much tighter.
Questioning and breaking reality.
Speaking of things, I don't think they should. Tighter.
Yeah,
let's talk about this Burly Brawl.
Yeah,
with the Smiths.
This was truly when it became a cartoon to me.
Oh, well, it's literally a cartoon.
It's literally a cartoon.
Okay, so I will talk about where Jon Favreau comes into this.
Here we go.
So I did a Wikipedia read on this film.
Okay, buckle up.
So
Sarah went on Wikipedia. Everybody strap the fuck in.
Because have you seen the French Dispatch?
Not yet. Don't spoil it.
If I could give you like a context spoiler.
Sure.
There is a section of the film that is animated.
Okay.
Which I really enjoy. Yeah, which I really enjoyed.
Wes Anderson classic.
And so that was on my mind in some of this, which is, I mean, obviously completely computer generated. Like there are some shots of this scene that like they are not even making an attempt.
Yes, I don't mind a animated portion of a movie as long as we're all on the same page that this is animated.
Yeah, no, and I think I agree with you on that. So
that's why it works in Wes Anderson movies. This is not the first time he's done that, and it's charming in his movies.
So this section of this fight, there are multiple scenes that are just clearly not a living actor anywhere near it, except for maybe Keanu's face that has been rendered.
The plate of his face.
Exactly.
Yeah, and Hugo Weaving's face.
In order to really make this effect happen at the time, basically the post-production team, I wish I should have looked up who it was exactly, but they had to invent a virtual camera.
Yes.
In order to like have the realistic panning movement of cameras, of cuts, of shots and shit like that.
Oh yeah, I am shitting on this movie's effect, but they did incredibly.
Oh, I mean, you could say the same for Jar Jar Binks, but Jar Jar Binks still sucks shit. You know what I mean? Like,
right? It's incredibly innovated, and we would not have the effects that we have now without this movie.
John Favreau, so they created what they called a universal camera, and that technology has blossomed into what Favreau's been using for the Jungle Book and for the Lion King.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So that is where,
and that's why they get
Jon Favreau gets involved,
and that's why we get to call it live action,
because this is the origin of this technology.
Right.
The fight. Honestly, there's a lot of the fight that I'm cool with, but it's just too long.
It's too long, and
it gets to a point where it is just kind of goofy because they keep showing up.
It's pretty like because it's computer generated. They don't have the like movement of clothing down.
Yeah.
That the whole fight, and this is like a little bit what I was alluding to when they have the fight with the Oracle's bodyguard. It all looks very stiff because nothing is moving on them.
Yeah. It's completely devoid of emotion and also devoid of plot because, like, if you took that fight out of the scene, what changes?
I mean, you need a little bit of that fight to get the purpose of what we were talking about, because I think you skipped ahead a little bit, where we understand what happens with that Agent Smith.
Well, we should actually go back and talk about Agent Smith, because you're right, because
that is the point of that fight is...
Yes, so we see Agent Smith early in the film. We know that he can, like, get into somebody's chest and replicate himself. The big character note of Mr. Smith, Agent Smith, is that he is now liberated from the machine, and he is basically just like a rogue virus.
Right. Basically, Neo showed him how to deviate from
he's like the Neo of...
He learned from Neo how to deviate from his programming.
Yes.
And
we see early in the film, he like replicates himself onto an actual human being who then gets sucked up by phone. Is his character Bane. He has a near miss early in the film where he tries to murder Neo.
Right.
So that's what we missed, which I loved, this little subplot.
Yeah. Oh, this is an interesting part of the movie.
And the way the film ends, I could have screamed out loud.
Yes.
So good.
I agree that that the plot.
He's on the thing. He's in the machine.
The plot with Agent Smith is
so good.
Yeah, is interesting. Like, I agree.
It's good, not just interesting, it's good.
I agree that, like, the idea of, like, this human who is a deviant part of this system teaches the machine it is fighting against how to be deviant.
Classic science fiction. Classic.
And then you have
like the robot becoming sentient.
Yeah, and then you have like the rebel versus the like
and then this
evil
is very,
programming.
We get into religious themes here about like determination or like predetermination or self discovery. I'm trying to think of the word here.
I was hoping to beat you to it, and then I couldn't, so I just watched you struggle. Yeah, I just watched you struggle.
Like, do we make our own decisions or all of our decisions predetermined?
Yes.
And now here we have an example of somebody whose decisions should be predetermined because they're a cog in a machine, but they're liberated now, and now they can unlock like all of their power.
But they were also created for evil, so now all their power is evil power.
Of course.
Yeah, where Neo's power is to liberate the human race and make everybody free.
Which I have so much
and make everybody
I have so much
free thinkers. But that's also what the Oracle was more or less saying in a less interesting way.
Yes.
Is, you made me a believer that there is some things that I might not know and am guessing on.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I wrote down Mr. Smith is Q. Agent Smith is Q.
I don't know if that works.
I am still following kind of the rules we set in the first Matrix film where like
Q
the
of James
agents-
Bond?
No, Q is in QAnon.
QAnon. Okay,
Yes.
I thought we were talking about James Bond.
No, get your head
Because
out
I
of
was
No
like,
Time to Die.
I was like, I don't think that works,
No,
Sarah.
he is Q of QAnon.
Yes.
Because if we're still following the like metaphor that the agents represent like cis hetero, patriarchal white supremacy, corporate society, like the fact that he has now learned to replicate himself and poison other people with this.
Yes, and that he's part of the system that is breaking the system.
But
because that's what Q is.
Yeah, and he thinks he's like, no, I'm like the real freedom fighter. It's like, can't you see you're just making everybody else like you?
I like that we have conspiracy theories about conspiracy theories. That's
Don't we all?
Sure.
Because if I died in a plane accident, the place I would want to resurrect myself is the same place where my father's head was shot off. Are you not familiar with the news? Did I go on this whole diatribe and you don't know what I'm talking
I
about?
have no idea what you're talking about.
QAnon supporters went to Dealey Plaza, where John F. Kennedy famously was assassinated.
Right, okay.
Awaiting the return of JFK Jr., who they believe
Right,
faked
is
his
still
death.
alive, yeah.
And he is going to announce his candidacy for president.
Right,
alongside
he's been
Donald Trump.
following, yes, Donald Trump around. I knew that. Okay.
So that's the reference I just made.
Deep cut. Okay.
The other thing I was going to say about that scene is that at one point, Neo throws an Agent Smith into a bunch of other Agent Smith, and there's like a bowling pin sound effect knocking over.
Oh, the sound effects in this movie.
I was into that. I was like, okay, they understand that this is fucking stupid. They have to know on some level this is goofy shit.
The sound effects in this movie are bonkers. It's the only way to describe it. Bonkers.
5 out of 5.
But yeah. No more, no less. Yeah.
So we get through this fight with Agent Smith, which like literally has no consequence at all, except that like I guess Neo's like, okay, for real, it's like tough out there. Like I guess it's like the lesson that he's had to learn.
Yeah.
Well,
the lesson is like, yeah, now I've created this bigger, badder enemy.
Oh yeah, I mean the knowledge that yes. So now he is facing.
He knows what he's up against
in both realities.
Yes,
because everyone is starting to wake up.
Yeah,
and realize
Sheeple.
Shit's different now.
Yeah.
So then the gang goes to this French fucking guy.
Oh my god, who?
Which this is another portion of the movie where entering this scene, I was like, they could lose me here.
This
is tough. I was teeter-tottering on this
I
one.
was drifting. This French guy, I want to point out, speaks, like if you just take his transcripts, speaks exactly like Donald Trump. He
okay.
At one point, I called this out because at one point it knocked me because he goes, I studied all the languages. French is the best.
Yes, because I actually wrote down, oh, very convenient that the Frenchman thinks that French language and food and culture is the
classic
best.
French.
That is also
right?
fucking frauds.
But the way he said it is like, I studied all the languages and I decided that French was the best language, which is a language I speak.
All of his dialogue in the scene needed another pass, and again, half a page cut.
I think the whole
maybe
scene.
A whole page.
Maybe the scene.
Well, you say that, but then he made a girl come with a cup of
a
little cake slice, and that I was like, you know what? I'll allow it. This is stupid and horny, but you know what? I'm okay with that.
That was very funny.
Again, absolutely fuck all to do with anything else.
Absolutely nothing.
But
Don't know the point.
I guess if I had to fight to defend this part of the film, there is
She came with a cake slice.
I'll have what she's having. But if I had to fight for this.
We are the most obnoxious people in the world, and I apologize for listening to this podcast.
If I had to defend this scene, I would say this. There's obviously a theme of love as being uniquely human. It's something that machines are not able to feel at all.
Yes.
But I think in this scene, we are defining that like sex and like orgasm.
Sex is love.
It's
unequivocally,
no,
1-to-1.
Bridgett, grow up. It's a series of mechanics where one event happens the next. Cause and defect, as he so eloquently explains in this monologue, which again, who gives a shit? Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I mean, was this a point that needed to be made? No.
But I mean, again, if I had to defend it, I could.
And the point that exact
more than
point,
anything, it's just kind of funny.
Yeah, that exact point was made so much better in the
without having like a binary look inside this woman's active vagina where she is having like an actual contraction of muscles causing an orgasm. But that point is made pretty eloquently, if not in a too long sex scene in the first act of the movie. Yeah, we got it.
We got the point.
It's like we're cool.
Yeah.
So then we have this Persephone character.
Yeah.
Which also, the sequence where she's like, I can take you to the Keymaker if you follow me into this area. Don't tell my husband. You have to give me one passionate kiss. Like, video game cutscene.
Yes.
Classic Shakespeare fuck all scene.
Yeah.
We're just going to go off and do something that has fuck nothing to do with anything.
Nothing. And also the on the nose naming of the character Persephone is.
But you know what? If we can allow Neo to be one.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah.
This thing is stupid with the you have to kiss me, whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, and Trinity like wanting to fight her.
Is this maybe like a test to see if Neo is like actually a human being? Like, does Persephone believe, like, is she aware of, like, this legacy of the one?
I think so. I think it is.
And is that what this is? Of, like, let me test if you're actually a human, because only a human could actually kiss like a lover.
I think so. I think that is the... I'm sorry.
It's a really good French.
It's spot on.
It's perfect.
Incredible work.
I watched a lot of Ratatouille.
You watched a lot of Pepe Le Pew.
Is my accent any worse than Janine Garofalo in fucking Ratatouille?
No, it is. It actually is. You just did that, and it was like,
fine.
You know, she worked on it for like a month. So
well,
come
I'm
back.
also not being paid to do this.
Yeah,
That's
back.
a lie. And thanks again to our patrons.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so they do this thing, but it's kind of funny that like it's interesting how it's directed because obviously the actors are all given this note about like looking stoic, obviously, because there's no way all of them are making that choice.
Yeah.
And this scene kind of directly challenges like Trinity emotionally.
Yeah.
But she can't really express it, so it's a little bit like Trinity. What's the?
No, I think she. Neo gets the point. She doesn't want him to do it.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's under this. Where Carrie Moss is just fucking kick ass.
Yeah, I mean, she's an incredible actress in that she can communicate and like feasibly Neo.
But they're otherwise like emotionally pretty void.
Yeah,
so it is kind of interesting that they have this moment where it's like, well,
let's
ruffle her feathers a little bit.
I think if you watch her, like her reactions are small enough where you're like, she's hurt, but she's still doing that Trinity Matrix stoic thing. Like she is incredible in this scene.
I wish like Neo would have turned and be like, babe, it's not cheating. It's the Matrix. This isn't real, babe. I promise. This is all fake. Babe, it's just the Matrix.
It's okay.
It's not cheating if it's in the Matrix.
Babe.
It's not cheating if it's in the Matrix. It's not real.
It didn't mean anything, babe.
She's just zeros and ones, don't you know?
Yeah.
This is all fake.
You're more than me than that, babe.
But anyway, they make out.
Sure. Yeah.
It's convincing. And then she's like, all right. No, it is bad. I'll stop doing it. I heard it just then.
You heard it, yeah.
That's when the plane landed.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, that was one of your better ones.
Melds.
Yeah. And that was one of your worst.
Oh, this is what we're recording on a Friday night. Oh my god. Anyway, fortunately for everybody, we're getting out of the French shit soon. So we're off to see the Keymaster.
Amazing.
But we get intercepted. Oh my god. And this is a scene. On the one hand, cut this shit. But on the other hand, keep it in. And I want a copy of this.
Here's a good 45 minutes of the movie that you can cut.
Well, no. Specifically when Persephone tells her little Frenchman, like, I can still see the lipstick. You're like,
you were gonna go for it.
I was.
You failed so hard.
She's like, wipe that lipstick off. and he's like, I'm not even wearing lipstick. And she's like, she didn't kiss your face.
Oh,
like, this
yeah.
movie is horny, dude. People are fucking in this.
Yeah.
That guy just got a blowjob from, I guess, Orgasm Cake Lady.
And still has lipstick on his dick?
I don't know about that one, friend. I can't speak to that.
Well, there was a second too where I forgot what movie we were in, and it's like, pull down your pants and show us.
I mean, it was rated R.
Yeah.
Let's see cock and balls.
Hey.
R rating. Let's do it. Anyway, so that whole thing made me cringe, but I also was like,
it's pretty funny.
on the one hand, this is fucking cool.
It's funny.
Like, this is cool. And then we enter a huge fight sequence.
Yes.
And this triggers like the next 45 minutes of like pure action.
Pure action, and like what the whole hour and a half we were watching is about.
Yes, this is where I kind of came in. A little bit.
Yeah.
I got in the freeway. So there starts this mansion. Again, video game.
Yes.
You have like your main boss fight with Neo and all these guys, the henchmen. And then you have kind of like your side quest, which is like helping dodge obstacles, essentially. On Neo's end, you know, we kind of talked about this briefly about the original Matrix in relation to its release date being close to the Columbine shooting.
Right.
How we all agree and know it had nothing to do with that. And fuck the trench coat, fuck those fucking
guys. Yeah.
Dylan and shithead, whoever the fuck their names are. But I do wonder, because in the beginning of the sequence, it is very knives and kind of hand-to-hand heavy, and the Agent Smith fight is like basically almost all hand-to-hand. Like, I do wonder if maybe there wasn't a decision of like, why don't we tone down some of the guns?
Yeah.
Because it's significant. I find that it was a significantly less amount of gun usage in this film than the original.
Yeah,
Matrix.
it's funny because in this movie it didn't bump me, because this is, I guess, more how I'm used to seeing action is much less guns.
Yeah. In general, we've just kind of moved away. Well, it's also just a more interesting fight without guns.
It's more interesting to watch without guns. Yeah, you're doing more.
Because like when they were like ripping the knives and shit off the wall, like that was so they were using fucking medieval weapons and shit.
Yeah, and when he's spinning around with the two daggers.
Yeah, this is a multi-person fight that actually works, because a lot of it is very obviously real human beings doing real stunts and not having to like make up for what they're lacking in terms of technology.
This is a cool fight.
Cool.
I liked it. Also, I mean, I made this point early in this movie when I was watching. We were sitting here with my roommate
just a few minutes ago.
Whereas, like the second movie is where it really gets nerdy. Like the first movie, like the first movie is a little more universal.
Yes,
I think like has wider appeal. When they start pulling out like the medieval daggers and like using the force to do it.
See, if we were nerdier, we would know immediately what these like exact, like he was using a rapier. But like, I'm not that deep into nerddom.
I'm not that deep. And
to be able to name weapons like that.
I can't, but so there
he was using a lot of melee fighting techniques.
Like you could tell it was very like within a certain canon of.
Yeah. This is very Renaissance Fair meets cyberpunk.
Yes.
It's
this is what I mean.
I will say the Wachowskis are really clued in, and I'm assuming this is their culture as well. Like they are really plugged into that exact kind of
that crossroad
nerd rave medieval times turkey leg ecstasy pill. Early 4chan. like very of its time, which I sincerely appreciate.
Yeah.
Like, because it is just so iconically this time, this film, these directors.
I know it. It looks fucking cool.
It looks great. This is something I just outright hated about the film. We have these twins.
Oh my God.
A lot of the costume design, wardrobe, etc. A lot of these like design choices I love so much. These costumes, however.
Nightmares.
In a fire. I did not like the way the twins looked.
The albino Smiths with their weird dreadlocks, but bald patch.
And I actually looked it up to see what is the race of the actors playing this, because I couldn't tell.
Hugo Weaving?
No. This is the twins.
Oh, okay.
And that is not Hugo Weaving. Those are two like Australian fuck nobodies playing the twins. I know. I thought literally up until I saw this movie that was Hugo Weaving.
CGI'd his face and made it.
Oh, maybe. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But I just couldn't tell. I couldn't tell if it was like, are we going for like albino characters, which would maybe make sense that they have locks and like they are styled the way they are, or are these just like very pale white guys?
I mean, they're ultimately computer programs.
And that too. And they look very old.
Yeah.
I didn't like the way these guys
No,
looked.
I mean,
I wasn't into it.
I don't think we need to get back because, like, ultimately they're computer. Like, not ultimately.
No,
like,
and you know what?
the
Quite
whole
frankly,
point,
inconsequential to the rest of the plot.
it doesn't.
They're henchmen.
They just look bad.
Yeah.
They look bad. I mean, they look scary, and when they turn into ghosts, it's also a different kind of nightmare.
That is cool. I did read that the visual like signifier of them like going invisible was inspired by jellyfish.
Oh, yeah.
Which I totally see that.
Yeah. They're very jellyfish-like, evil jellyfish-like.
That was cool. There was also like a few attempts at like very dry, what we would recognize now as like Marvel humor. Because I remember the first time they go invisible and Trinity says something like, well, that's new. Like,
yeah.
Trinity, stop. Oh my God.
I mean,
you jokester.
That's the closest thing she's ever made to a joke in her
They had
life.
a few of those little like throwaway lines or whatever, which is like, you know, I guess this would work if these actors were allowed to like smile or emote.
Yeah.
In the Matrix, which they're obviously not allowed to.
I mean, the dialogue is clever.
Oh, absolutely.
So, like, yeah, it makes sense that they're like these witty one-liners, but yeah, they're not. Yeah, I think they work for me.
Yo, yeah. I mean, I equal parts enjoy them, equal parts think they're stupid.
Yeah, I think they're better.
But I mean,
I think they're better than the Marvel ones.
I love this movie. I love
these are less self-aware than the Marvel ones.
Yes.
So like, I don't eye roll at these.
No. I will allow it. And again, anything out of Carrie-Ann Moss's mouth, please.
Yeah.
The floor is yours.
Yeah.
So Neo wipes out these motherfucking guys, no problem, because he's fucking Neo.
Yeah.
We enter this car chase sequence, which is where I came in to your viewing today.
Yes.
And this fucking rules, although I will say, too long.
Too long.
As I was watching for the first time last night, I literally got to a point where I was so suspended in my like healthy level of what's going to happen next movie anxiety.
Yeah.
Where I had been in that emotional, like that mental place
that
for
heightened
so long
state.
that like I actually started to get uncomfortable.
Sure.
Because I really was like, all right, when does this wrap up? Where
well,
are we
also
going?
at this
like,
point,
I kind of got stressed watching all of this.
Yeah, because at this point you're 2 hours into the movie and you don't feel it wrapping up.
And
you're at a climax of the movie.
The ticking time bomb could not be more. The stakes got to be higher. All of humanity is about to die.
Yeah. And you have no idea.
And we know we're leading up to that.
Yeah.
And that's what we're fighting against.
Yeah. We also missed the introduction of the man, the icon, the legend, the key.
The
maker.
Keymaker.
Not Keymaster.
Fuck.
Keymasters, Ghostbusters, Keymaker.
I know, it's just in my ear now. But Key the Maker.
Who has one of the best voices. Like,
he's great. Every decision they make about him, perfect casting.
Yeah.
Perfect character
I
design.
love,
perfect.
He's down. He's just a down guy.
I get the sense that like, he understands.
He understands.
It's like, I know.
I'm going to have to get on the back of this motorcycle.
Because he was quick to run.
Yeah. We have to run. Well, because he also knows what's going to happen. But he's like, I'm going to get on the back of this motorcycle with Trinity. And she's going to drive like a mad woman.
And genuinely, that actor, I think, gives a great performance in this movie.
Incredible. Because I was going to say, when he's on the back of that motorcycle, he knows he has to do it. This is why he's down. This is why that's a down motherfucker.
He is down.
Because he gets on that motorcycle and his performance in that scene is like, he does it without hesitation. He's mostly fine, but there's a little bit of fear behind his eyes of like, she's
he really gives like a very nuanced performance
like he's doing
without saying a fucking thing.
He's like, look, this is going to be fine. I know what happens. This is just what we have to do. But she's driving like a mad woman. And I'm a little scared.
Will say, we have so many times in this movie where somebody sits down with Neo and is like, the universe, as you know it, is not real, but perhaps could be. Versus when the Keymaker says things, it's very quick, very profound. A lot of
to the point.
Yes, I so enjoyed when he keeps kind of reiterating towards the end of the film. That's like, I have a purpose. I'm here to serve my purpose. I know what that purpose is. And later, spoiler, when he dies, it's like, I've served my purpose, so this is the end. Like, this is where, again, I was kind of on this tightrope, and like at any minute I could fall off. He was one of the characters that really brought me to the other end of the road.
I appreciate a character in this movie who is ultimately expositional, but does not talk in logic puzzles.
Yes.
He is one of the few like NPCs of this movie.
Yes.
Who is not talking in fucking riddles.
Yes.
And I appreciate that. And he has a voice that rivals Lawrence Fishburne's. And that is a testament to that actor's voice. It is golden and it is silky smooth. And I loved him.
Loved him. He was great. what do we even say about this freeway shit? I mean, it fucking kicks ass. I definitely think little editing, a little tighter.
A little editing,
but it absolutely rules.
We know we love a car chase on this podcast.
We love a car chase.
You know this.
I will say, when Trinity and the Keymaker were on that motorcycle and the 18-wheeler started to come in on them,
I
literally thought they were going to go
under the motor.
I literally thought they were going to do that. I thought they were going to go full Toretto and go underneath. It's okay that they didn't.
Yeah, I do love, I mean, it's very like LA Insider. I would not have picked up on
I did not pick up that line until we watched it tonight.
Pointed out where they're just like, don't go on the freeway.
Well, it's specifically the 101. It's like, hacking you into the 101, that'll take some time. This is the most advanced freeway.
Which for our non-LA listeners is like one of the worst freeways in LA.
By the way, it's not worse than the 405.
The 405 is the worst one.
Dead last.
We don't have to talk about this too long. 405 is dead last, but 101 is a close second.
I am a 101 purist, so I feel the need to defend.
Sure. I mostly agree. But yeah, it is very funny where they're like, you gotta hope for me.
Well, the last movie, there were so many very obvious Chicago landmarks that I'll allow it.
No, I mean, I laugh where they're like, that will take you this long. Well, let's hope I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Which is like true. Which is truly what I say to myself every time I am going to go to the beach.
Yeah, we actually had a good laugh at that one.
Yeah, where it's just like, it's going to take you this long. Well, let's hope I'm wrong. It's truly me trying to go to the beach in the damn city.
Something about the choreography of the chase sequence here is that like, I almost like the hot potato aspect of like the Keymaker is with Morpheus. Now he's with Trinity and how they like pass it off and do like these diversion techniques. Again, I mean, iconic. I'm assuming this scene is like the scene that people go apeshit for when they talk about this movie.
I mean, the opening.
And I mean, famously, they built that highway section off of like a defunct Air Force base that they were like, have all this land.
Yeah.
Can I say something cool about this film that I learned from Wikipedia? Quote, around 97% of the materials from the sets of the film were recycled after production was completed. For example, tons of wood were sent to Mexico to build low-income housing.
Hell yeah.
The Wachowskis are fucking communists. Let's talk about this. Maybe not. But very cool. I don't think I've ever heard of another set being so generous and realistic with like, this is only going to exist for like 3 months. And then this can go anywhere else.
I really love that as a filmmaker myself. And seeing the waste that happens on set,
it's terrible.
It's terrible. It's terrifying. It's terrifying when you're the one that is also a little bit, I mean, mostly responsible for it.
Yeah. But when you have everybody else saying, no, we can't do that because blah, blah, blah.
Well, yeah, there are a lot of things that happen, but
a lot of red tape.
There's a lot of red tape. It's not as easy to donate things as it should be.
And that too.
Because
seriously, the wardrobe alone.
It's not as easy as you would think. I once did a project, and I've done a lot of my own research to look into this for my own films of how to maintain a sustainable set. Yeah. And it costs so much money to do that. So any move you can make that is significant, like I respect, that's great. And every set should do that or figure out a way to do that has those kind of resources and is able to. That's really cool. I really love that.
No, that's why I had to, I had to read it verbatim because that actually really fucking rules.
This is
Who's doing that? You know what I mean? Like,
no, that's amazing. And it's not, that's another like heavy production lift. Like I can go on and on about the minutia of filmmaking with this because it interests me, but no one else. So we can talk about this movie.
We can go on another podcast to talk about it. Maybe we can jump on Movie Diaries. I don't know. Which we're not making that movie, but we can jump on it. So yeah, well, I mean, what does there to say about this chase? You gotta watch this shit. It's fucking awesome. It kicks ass.
Yeah, it's a good chase.
It's
too long, but it's good.
This I did think was kind of cool.
And I'm saying it's too long as a Fast and Furious.
No. Again, every scene in this film, tighter.
Long, yeah.
Again, this is where I say Shakespearean in that way, which again,
Shakespeare could have been edited.
Not anything against Shakespeare. Definitely though, it's like, all right, these couplets can go. I think we can just go ahead and cross that off.
Yeah, they're good, but you got to kill your darling sometime.
Quattro can just throw trash.
Sometimes you got to kill your darlings.
We're okay. Yeah. I was joking the other day that like a Shakespearean gun is a gun that gets an entire poem to itself in the first act, and then it just kind of sits there. And like, if you remember it, congratulations.
Yeah.
You were paying attention. But if not,
Yeah,
don't worry about it.
It's the opposite of Chekhov's gun. It does get introduced, but it doesn't do much.
Oh, we'll sing a whole fucking song and dance about it.
Yeah.
But like, don't think it's ever going to be important.
Don't sweat about it. Yeah.
One more thing about Shakespeare, man.
Oh my God.
Because I was thinking again, like, this is Shakespearean. Shakespeare also loves to have just some random fucking guy come on stage at the end of the play.
And like
and
wrap
then
it up.
and then someone on stage be like, Father. And it's like, wait, fuck off. Who the hell is this guy?
Yeah.
This is a stranger. This actor's been sitting backstage for 3 hours at this fucking point. And now all of a sudden we have to give a shit, know his name.
Yeah, now he's gonna
kiss my ass.
Right, now he's gonna wrap up the play for us.
Quite literally.
Yeah.
But I digress. Neo got stuck on a mountain some fuck all because this Frenchman also has the ability to like open up these back channels.
People, yeah.
And like boot his ass to like another program or some shit.
Yeah.
But because Neo can fly.
Don't matter.
No problem. Also, joining the fight, Jada Pinkett Smith.
Love her in this movie.
And that is a costume.
She looks
Talk
cool.
about a fucking wardrobe.
She looks cool.
They did not miss a beat with her look.
Anytime I cheer every time she comes on camera.
Very inspired by who is still relevant, very relevant at the time, Scary Spice.
Yeah.
Like Mel B.
Yeah.
Love
that
the look.
so confidently.
Well, because it's Mel C or Mel B. There's a huge difference. One is Sporty Spice, one is Scary Spice.
Yeah, I think Mel B is scary. Because you are famously a scary and I am famously a sporty.
Oh, I didn't realize. I didn't realize we were...
Who you were talking to.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway, for a Spice Girl podcast.
Oh, don't tempt me, please. So she shows up to the fight. A little backstory on her. Obviously, she's got a thing for Larry Fishburne.
Yeah.
And don't we all?
Who doesn't?
But I think she's with the
and
other
that
guy who's
purple
kind of being the foil.
And that Joker suit.
Oh, yes. Morpheus is looking absolutely sharp as fuck.
And here's the problem with how good he looks. It inspired a bunch of dudes to think that they could pull that off too. And you cannot.
Oh, we talked about this last episode, but like literally the worst people got the worst ideas from
fashion
this film.
ideas from this movie. Only these people can pull it off. Don't try this.
Even like the red pill of it all. It's like, you stupid fucking idiot asshole fucks.
Truly,
the red pill is estrogen, you stupid ass. What does that have to do with being a man?
Truly, there should be a disclaimer before these movies that says, don't try this at home, kids.
Truly.
Like, there should be one of those because any idea that
well,
people
the Neo, like, not even a waistcoat, but like the full length coat that looks fucking awesome on Keanu Reeves.
No one else. You look like a Catholic priest.
Yes.
You look like a Catholic priest and it is not cool. Those sunglasses, they don't look cool.
No, they do not. Although I do have a pair of Matrix sunglasses that like, I wish I could wear in public. They are pretty cool. Anyway, but I can't wear in public because
I'll report back on this.
I'll post a photo. Well, I'll have a fucking poll, and everyone's gonna be like, "No, this looks really cool."
Of course they will.
So we wrap out this chase. We got the gang all together. We have like another meeting inside the Matrix, which again, I'm like, isn't this a sensitive place to be talking? But I guess when the real world is being actively attacked by sentinels, it is a little bit like, well, there's nowhere safe.
Well, it's also like the empty Matrix.
Yeah, that is true.
It's not the populated. It's not the running one. It's
right. So we have this meeting where again the Keymaster says things that are awesome, and I love what he says.
Great speech.
Morpheus has another monologue, which again, let's like wrap it up here. But I will say I do like, and this is Lawrence Fishburne, when Jada Pinkett Smith is like, "How can we know that you're wrong?" And he goes, well, then we'll all be dead by tomorrow. But why would that be different than any other day? Like, ooh.
Yeah.
Fuck. This is the point of the movie where I really started to be like, no, this is good, actually. And I'm really enjoying it.
I mean, here's the problem with this movie. It sucks me in at the end.
It really gets me going in the end. And
also because the end is where they're doing what I would want this movie to do from the beginning, which is just explore the rules that you have already set up without trying to add more thought experiments that don't hold water. Just show me how to play in this universe.
Yeah.
Just play in the universe you built. Play in the sandbox. Like, don't try to add more layers into this.
Yeah, I don't need 9 hours of philosophy to understand the Matrix. I'm in. If I'm already watching this, I'm already in. You
can add new things like and that's what ultimately ends up mattering is the Agent Smith dynamic of like, okay, so within this rule, if a human can be free, now a computer can be free.
Yes.
And what does that mean if now the computer is, if essentially AI is fighting humans?
Yes.
Yeah. So just explore that, and that's where this movie becomes cool, and then sucks you in. And when you watch it, and you're like, okay, I'm going to tune in for the third one.
Yeah, because even though
now.
this Morpheus bit again could definitely be tightened, I just like what he has to say about like, we've been fighting this war forever. Like, we may as well carpe diem, you know, like we may as well take our opportunity, because if we don't know, we'll never know. And this is our last chance to know for
and this is also Morpheus, the zealot. Now
it is. It's preaching.
Well, he's preaching, but he's also preaching the other side, because now he's embracing. I mean, he's embracing free will a little bit. He's embracing the unknown. He's embracing that idea of like, well, we have to pick one or the other, and either choice pretty much now under this philosophy is the same. So let's fight for ourselves.
Yeah, I'm not gonna literally compare it to the Bible, because I don't want to lose people in this. But
it is like a little bit of everything is. It's a little bit of an allegory.
Oh, of course. But I will compare it to
quite a bit, actually.
If I can maybe have a frame of reference that's more accessible, it is similar to Jesus Christ Superstar. How Jesus Christ Superstar really explores the idea that like Jesus in his lifetime was under all the pressure in the world, right? Because everyone had heard of a Messiah, and it's like, okay, but like, dude, are you gonna do anything with that? Yeah. And like, how many people he disappointed by him, because it was like, you know, well, I'm not really seeing what we're supposed to see here,
right?
And it's like in this moment, that's where I was kind of like, oh fuck, dude, like this has got to be a moment for Neo where it's like, yes, people were giving him fucking like sacrifices earlier. I mean, he's obviously the Christ metaphor is very clear with the one, right? Neo, the chosen one, etc. But like, I think it's very interesting to focus on like the pressure of that and like the fragility of faith and belief. And it is as simple as asking the question, what if you're wrong?
Right. Well, and then also, you know, what decisions are your own.
Yes,
at that point.
Choice is an illusion.
Right. Yeah. So, and if you know that, how do you continue to make choices? Because that is just like, you know, whether you are fighting a robot war or just going to work in the morning, like,
doesn't matter. You're oppressed, and your choices are made by the people.
You still have choices to make almost at every turn in the day. So, like, if you know
how significant are those choices really?
Exactly. And if every single choice you make is weighted as life or death, and you know that, and the fate of the world hinges on like whether you go left or right, how do you choose how to go left or right?
So, because also while the scene is happening, we get kind of a cut to the Nebuchadnezzar, and we see Neo tell Trinity, stay out of this. Like, if you can just only do one thing for me one time.
Right, because he knows this is where she will die.
Yes.
This is where he's
to go back, the Oracle even tells Neo, like, you already know what is going to happen. It's now a choice of how you're going to accept that.
Right, yeah.
She basically says, like, Trinity's going to die, period. You now have to learn in between now and then, how are you going to live with that truth?
Right, Trinity is going to die, and it's going to be because of you, and you're just going to have to fucking deal.
This, like, everything leading up to this climax, this is when I was really like, okay, I'm not walking on a tightrope anymore. I'm still on a very thin line, but I'm running full force to the end. Like, I am now secure on my footing in this film.
Yeah, so now they have to do this weird plan where he gets to the sword.
And I love a heist, and this gets kind of heisty.
It gets heisty. I wish they spent more, because it feels shoehorned in, and I'm sure it would be cool. I can't...
If they had tightened up some of the earlier shit and outright cut that Agent Smith fight down like 10 minutes... we could have had so much more interesting things happening with this.
Yes.
But by this point, I'm not mad that we're kind of clipping along at this point, because tightness is like, okay, this is what I needed to see.
I wish this happened earlier in the movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they have to knock down the power grid at the same time as
they knock down the backup power grid.
The power grid, and then they find out the backup power grid runs, because they knocked out the power and they're like, oh no, the backup
because those people got absolutely sniped in the real world.
Yes.
Which also, I thought this was such a cool choice. Like, what a high stakes moment that, like, yes, when you die in the real life, you're obviously dead in the Matrix.
Yeah. I mean, that's from the first movie.
I know, but like, when this happened in this film, I was like, oh my God. Like, I truly felt the impact of like, oh shit, what are we going to do now?
Yeah, you remember that rule from the first. Yeah, and it becomes more.
I'm just saying, in this film, I really was like on the edge of my seat.
Yeah. But yeah, the heist is a little convoluted. Oh, they have to rush through the heist.
No, because you know what? It's very similar to Ocean's 11 where it has to be everything happening at the same time.
Yeah, but can you explain what they're doing?
Yes, I can.
What do they do?
They have to knock out the main power source, which will knock out the grid,
Right.
which is what they do when they blow up the power plant.
Yes.
Simultaneously, they also have to knock out the emergency backup power in this building because they have a failsafe where when the power goes out and on
Right.
grid, they have an emergency generator.
Right.
So at the same time as the power grid being shut down, the emergency generator also has to be shut down, and then they can open the door to get into the back channel and escape the back channel, because if any of that happens when any power is on, they're going to be fucking fried. So when the emergency backup people on the grid on the lower level all get knocked out and Trinity has to come in and do that shit, it is because literally, should they not get that backup generator destroyed, the power is actively on and they are going to die 1,000 deaths.
Right. Okay.
I think this is very clear personally.
Yeah, I guess. Maybe I was just a little checked out on the exposition.
See? Well, it's just like in a hurricane. Like,
I mean, yeah.
Your power grid goes out, you get a backup generator.
No, I understand how generators and power
Okay.
works, but it's just like to what end? So,
But I also thought, great way to get Trinity in. Because
Yeah.
she has to. Now, like, there's literally no other choice.
yeah,
She has to.
she does.
She can't say it even if she wants to.
So yeah, and then she gets fought and shot up a bunch.
She kind of gets her ass beat a little bit by that one agent, which I'm sorry, she literally killed an agent in the first Matrix movie, which a little continuity plot hole in this. In the first Matrix movie, they say that the one is basically the only one who can kill an agent, but Trinity definitely kills an agent. And I know this is a talking point of these films that, like, is Trinity not the one really? But she's not allowed to be the one because she's a woman.
Yes.
Which is a trope we see all the time in films where it's like, actually, the woman in this story is like the most capable. Hermione Granger. Like,
right. She knows more
she's
than...
actually the one that is like doing kind of the legwork here.
She knows more than
but because
everybody.
she's not chosen.
Right. She's not the special boy.
The girlfriend.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's done.
But but Trinity gets her ass kicked by this agent, which I was a little bit like.
And she also is the one who saves the world by going into the system and knocking out the bag. Like,
so while that's happening,
Neo gets into the
Keymaster gets us in. We're in kind of like this
the mainframe.
Yes. We have all the Agent Smiths Max. Now, all the Smiths in this scene, I think it'd be more impactful. We keep the Smiths in that first scene, maybe to like 10 of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then in this moment, that's when we bring them all out. I think that would have been more impactful.
Sure.
It would have probably been an easier pill to swallow because also this is very bright, just like undefined, nondescript area. I think it would just been more effective if we had saved all the Smiths coming in for this moment versus
I agree with that.
blowing them in that brawl earlier.
Yeah.
But they fight these guys. They get through the door. Keymaster is killed in it, which also, gasp, I did not see that coming truly.
Yeah, but he opens the door for them.
But again, something so nice about the fact that he's like, this was my purpose.
Can you clarify?
Oh, please.
For all of us.
I've seen this once.
Yeah, because I wonder if you can clarify. The door isn't just to get them out of the Matrix. The door is to get Neo in. Well, I guess to like stop the Sentinels.
So the Keymaster says there are two doors.
Right.
Morpheus, that is the door home. I'm assuming we don't see that door, but I'm assuming behind that door there's an empty room with a phone.
Right, and that will get him to Zion.
Right. Or just back to the ship.
Yeah.
The other door is the door that only Neo can go through because he's the one.
Right. What is behind that door?
The source, the architect.
Right. Moments ago, I watched this movie.
Oh, you literally don't remember.
I literally don't remember.
Okay, you probably don't remember because it's very much filmed like a video game where he goes to the door, turns the key, the door turns into a light, and then we almost render
and that's like
a whole new
he sees the
room.
light and he can't imagine what's right.
It switches to that universe.
Right.
And then we zoom out where the TV screens. Which
that's why I forget that transition just happens.
Which fair question. I also in that scene I did think, oh, like in Scary Movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's like my visual reference.
I also,
because
it does kind of just happen. Like they talk about, he can't see past that moment.
Yeah.
He can't fathom what that moment is. Therefore, he can't see past it. And so it kind of just happens.
Yes.
So yeah, let's skip ahead because we're already an hour and a half.
I know, because I'm so in love with this film. So we have this scene with the architect, which again, tighter, but I really like this scene. And for me, this is when I really was like, no, this is good, actually.
No, I would have been fine with this scene if the whole movie was tighter and this was just scooted up about half an hour to 45 minutes.
I have not seen the third. Have you seen the third one?
Yes.
Okay, I've not seen the third.
Very similar. Don't remember it that well.
Okay, I have not seen the third one, so I might be predicting here a little bit. But I actually have a theory that in this conversation, the architect explains the beginning of the Matrix, which like, okay, tight. Let's tighten this up. But then he gets to a point where he says there's been many iterations of you in the past.
So this is a simulation 6th time around.
Yes. And when the one comes to this point.
And I also really think this is an interesting part of the movie that I wish happened while it still had a little bit more of my attention.
Yeah. So this is where I'm really going to go off. So we learn that basically when the one gets to this point, all of Zion restarts. The one gets to choose 23 people, 16 women.
Yeah. 16 men.
Not 16 men. Because that's 16 and 16 is not 23.
Yep.
It's 16 women and I think 7 men. I'm not going to do this fucking math.
Yeah.
Anyway, you get to choose.
I forgot it was 23.
You basically, well, I remember because that's the DNA sequence. 23. You have 23 of those.
23 and me.
Chromosomes?
Yes.
I don't know the name, but I do know it is 23.
20 chromosomes.
Interesting. And then interesting that there's more females than males for repopulation. Interesting. So basically we get to this point. What I am going to say is that maybe Neo is not the one in terms of the binary one who is going to reset this matrix. But maybe he is the one lowercase o, the one who is going to ultimately liberate all human beings from this matrix, because the architect is talking about the one as being an anomaly.
Yeah, and an enemy.
Anomaly of the code. But Neo is human. And we know he is human, especially in this scene, because he ultimately chooses love, which is not an emotion that a machine could even replicate, even get close to.
Do you want me to say anything?
Well, I was just going to wrap up by saying, what if Neo is not the one that's been like prophesized and waxed poetic and the oracle is whatever? What if this is like something entirely different?
Okay, now I'm excited for you to see the third movie.
I'm kind of afraid that it's not going to go anywhere in the third film, and I'm going to be like,
I mean, a little bit, but
but this to me, when I was really like, oh my God, dude, he's not just like the one. No, he literally is he is the liberator of all these people, as he's already liberated the machine itself with Mr. Smith.
That is, I mean, precisely what they were alluding to in that scene. I don't think that, he is an anomaly. He is also, I mean, we know he is not code. It's just this computer has to think of everybody as code.
Right.
Because the architect is also a computer program, so they really have they can't understand a human's motivations.
No, there are just some things that they can't.
So they also see, they know
ethos, pathos, logos.
Right. And so Neo runs to the door, he runs through the love door, but he also saves the day still, because again, this computer is Neo's on a galaxy brain and the computer's not there yet.
That's exactly it. Neo is using his fucking galaxy brain, and I like that Neo is like, bullshit, and he says the thing like, oh well, denial is such a simple human emotion, but like, denial is what we have. Like, think about, think about like in your own relationship to your computer. If you said yes to every single fucking thing your computer recommended, that'd be hell.
Yeah.
You'd have a virus. That's for, minimum, your computer be all of your privacy and information.
And I'd be subscribed to so many emails.
You would be, we're already trapped in this where we've just said yes to things that we shouldn't have said yes to years ago. Facebook.
I mean, denial is the whole point of the deviant program, or like what they're
But
talking.
I think it like what makes us human.
Yes, I mean, yeah, because denial is ultimately a questioning of the
Doubt.
system.
Yeah.
It's a doubt. It's a questioning of the system. So yeah, in that moment, he like questions the program and says, "I don't think you're right about this. Deny, quit program, run through love door." Save my girlfriend by just diving hand deep into her binary.
Because it's like Trinity's gonna die either way. Correct. So even if he goes to choose to save Zion, like Trinity is going to die.
Yeah.
So you may as well try to say, like, you know, I normally when these kind of ultimatums happen in films, I'm just like sick. Because the obvious choice is to save humanity, of course. Like you're gonna really throw it all away for one fucking person.
It's yeah.
But in this case, I really was the whole time like, Neo, go to Trinity.
Yeah.
Fuck this.
Yeah, it is the one movie that does. I mean, it's that classic experience, the classic thought experiment of like pull the lever to run over one person, or
yeah. But in this case, the lever, you know, the person on the track. It's not just a fucking stranger.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's the like in that thought experiment, they then like you say.
Which, by the way, can I say the first time someone asked me that question, I said I would throw myself in front of the train. Is that not the obvious answer?
That's like the hero's answer. That's the Gryffindor answer.
I don't know. It just seems like literally logical.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the next part, though, like you say the one person, the next part, the next question, the follow-up is, okay, now that person's your mother. Like,
oh,
yeah.
Well,
and
anyway.
those 5 people are Hitler. Like, that is,
oh.
yeah.
Wow. So he goes to the door to save Trinity. And I actually do have a very vague memory of seeing this part of the movie when my roommate was watching it one time. Like I just walked in and she was watching this movie. And I remember she said, and I had no context. She goes, look, Neo is literally destroying all of humanity to save the woman he loves. And I was like, okay. But actually, the shot of him flying with all like the cars swirling behind him, it really like affected me. I was like, oh my God, no, I'm like, I have bought into this love story that like I otherwise thought was a little bit ham-fisted.
You also are pointing out, you asked like what the iconic scene from this movie is, and it is this rooftop scene.
It's got to be. It's so good.
It is this scene.
And I loved how it happened. She does die, but it's like, no, he is the one. She does not have to die. I am going to liberate human life from this fucking machine, and like reaches, I love it.
Starts her heart with his hand.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's fucking sick. That is fucking sick.
Again, if this movie was shorter, the end is good.
Oh my God, sure. But I will stomach some of the fat for this delicious
it doesn't pay off enough for me. I think it's because I wish they had more time. I think if they had more time.
I can't really like defend this movie, but I really did enjoy
this
flick.
I'm not surprised about that. I
love this.
If we can take a quick sidetrack into Bridget's random side point corner of this podcast. So when they all go back to Zion, we have Link, one of the brothers of Tank and Dozer.
Yes.
Who has joined the Nebuchadnezzar.
He's also very sweet. I think he also gives a great performance in this
Great
film.
family. Those boys, good boys.
Awesome.
All good boys of that family. And he goes back to his wife, who's waiting for him in Zion, and he opens the door like ready to fuck his wife.
Yes.
And what I want to point out is he yells, "Where's my there's a P sound."
Yeah.
And then he notices there are kids there. So he doesn't finish his sentence. So what I want to point out is he was going to open the door, I guess, and say, "Where's my pussy?"
Yeah. Yeah.
That was his opening line.
And here's the thing. I could give it a pass if it's like a 50s sitcom where calling a woman like a pussycat was like kind of like a funny thing to say.
What? That's an insane thing to say. That's
you never seen like an old Nick at Night shit
No.
I know. But not
that I understand.
Not now.
Not now, and not where's my pussy?
Yeah.
Like as he's like, that is an insane. I mean, correct me. I don't know if there was.
No. I'm glad you said that because that was also like, wait,
what was he about to say?
What does he say?
What is that? The word he was gonna say?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Actually, I think my closed captioning did give me pussy. Like I think it literally did read pussy.
That's fair. Yeah, it just gave me a P dash.
Yes.
Which is insane. But that's just Bridget's little sidetrack corner.
No. I'm glad you brought that up because that was also like, wait, what the fuck?
What were you saying?
Yeah.
What did the children stop you from saying? Because I don't think just children should have stopped you. That's a weird thing to say.
Just a bad thing to say, period.
That's just a weird thing to say. Hi, wife, I haven't seen in it seems like 6 months.
Yeah, although interesting, his like wife, girlfriend, whoever gives him a cross necklace, which does.
Is it a crown? We don't really see it.
Oh, I just, you know what, I'm thinking Dom Toretto. I thought it was like a.
Yeah, it's just a gold chain.
I just see a chain. I think
it's just like a superstition.
Okay.
Superstitious talisman.
Because he says, like, I don't believe in that stuff.
I mean, it could, like, you could see it as a cross, but I don't think they ever show.
For some reason, I thought it was a literal cross, and I was like, okay, so Christianity is.
No, it was.
But no, that can't be right.
They don't show a pendant or anything. It's just a chain.
No, if that was the reality, then you know without a shadow of a doubt that Christianity is false.
Yeah.
Like, at that point, you know all religion is fake.
Yeah.
But so the film wraps up. Oh my God, such a great way to end the movie. Holy shit.
Yeah.
They wrap up. The Nebuchadnezzar is destroyed. Oh, and this is where we get like a little taste, I guess, of things to come. Because Neon is able to kill the Sentinels.
Neo.
Who'd I say?
Neon.
Oh, Neo is able to kill the Sentinels like Palpatine style with his brain and shit. Which again,
he's like something
this
different.
idea of liberation. Like he is not just the one in the Matrix. He is literally the one. Period.
Right. He's like, something's different. I can feel them. He sticks his hand out as they're like attacking the gap.
Oh my God.
And
so
he
good.
yeah,
I love
so,
that Jedi shit.
So he can kill him with his mind now.
And then we get back to a ship that saves them, and then we have this conversation about, oh yeah, well there was one person who fucked up the mission. We have him on board. Dun dun dun. It's Agent Smith.
Yeah. Dope.
To be concluded.
To be continued, which you did not expect.
I was saying that to Bridgett. I did not know this was a part 1, part 2.
Yeah,
so
it's a great way to end the movie.
It is, but when the Sentinels started to attack, I did have a feeling of like, okay, how much fucking more is this movie gonna be? Like, we're done. We gotta be done.
Yeah, it again, it's just because this movie is too long.
Yeah. Also, Morpheus does have that line that's like, "I dreamed a dream, and now that dream has come to an end." This isn't the Millennium Falcon. Like, what is the emotional tie to the Nebuchadnezzar? Like,
it's not a scrappy little
that ship, but it's not the Enterprise when that was destroyed. It was like, oh my God.
Yeah, no, we see a million ships that look like it.
Exactly.
It's
like kind of a piece of shit. There's like no feeling of like home in there. I don't know. I thought that was like, okay, Morpheus, wrap it up.
They try to set it up, but it's not, they don't do it well enough to make it a good moment. And they also show a million ships that look like it. Like the Millennium Falcon is a special ship because it's like
nothing looks like that.
Because nothing looks like that.
I will say like Zion and like the general wardrobe in Zion was very Star Trek.
Yeah.
I like so much, everything that happens in Zion could independently be its own Star Trek episode, because that is so much of Star Trek is like talking to people about different things,
different ideas,
and then maybe having like an action sequence, but it is an awful lot.
It's just like
people having meetings,
people talking about
large
ideas.
It is a workplace drama. Star Trek is.
It really is. It's just people talking about lofty ideas in the office. But my point still stands. I think again, this would have been a better movie if it was more like its
it needs to be
latter
tightened
half.
Up for sure.
I think it does its best in the latter half because it just starts playing in the universe it sets up, and it's not packing on ideas that are
it's kind of kicking a can around for a long time before it knows the direction that the can is going to
exactly.
go. Yeah.
And I think for me it falls, and that's why like you see me be a little fuzzy on this movie because I'm a little by the time it gets interesting, I'm kind of checked out of this movie. And that's like the big failure of this movie. Ultimately, it's why I still saw the third one. And again, do not remember it that well because it ends in an interesting way. And I was like, well, I got to tune in for the next one. But
no, I'm hyped to see the next film. I had no idea they had this.
I'm not that surprised that you're into this.
I think more than anything, I don't know where I got the impression that this movie sucked so fucking bad.
I mean, that is a general, like, they're really not as good as the first. The first is
head and shoulders.
The first is a good film. The rest are just like movies that do too much with the canon.
Yeah,
for me.
But
it becomes not a piece of cinema at that point. And I think that's why
when they also were doing a simultaneous animated series, and then the video game also has like very serious canon that actually affects the films. It's just like you kind of just get lost in the sauce.
I mean, I feel like these movies are a classic case of like the 2 and 3. It feels like a little bit of a sellout.
Well, I think this is very early 2000s, dare I say, post 9/11 America, where we are just like so insular into rebuilding like our economic like anything we can do to become number one again.
Yeah.
And like
so
how that affected the entertainment industry, I think we saw a real boon of like the video game tie-in, the book tie-in, keyword tie-in.
Yeah.
Because every movie that came out had a video game attached to it.
And it was just like, how big can franchises and capitalism
Yes, and
get?
I think the Wachowskis share the George Lucas instinct, which is every medium that I can tell a story and I'm going to use.
Which is not necessarily a bad instinct.
No, but
it
as
does...
a piece of film, it is a little bit like we need a little bit more attention on the filmmaking aspect of that if you're going to be telling a complete story that you expect us to understand within the confines of a trilogy.
You need to make the film. Well, I think stand on its own merits.
Yes.
You need to make the film a separate thing and not pay fan service to every single thing that you're doing within the universe. Some things just need to be separate and good on their own.
Yeah.
And I think this does a little too much world building and theorizing that is ultimately unnecessary for the more interesting parts of this movie to flourish.
Yes.
But that being said, and
love this movie.
I am not surprised by this reaction one bit. When
I do love this movie.
When I was telling you that I did not like 2 and 3 as much, I said that like kind of biting my tongue because I knew it was kind of where we deviate on our views of franchise movies.
Oh yeah, I am willing to forgive a lot of things.
I can't help but see where this movie sells out.
Sure, I get it.
And where, the things that I really like about the first one are the same things that I think make this one not good.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's like we took the steering wheel and we turned onto a different street entirely.
Right, and I think the difference and like why I like the Fast and Furious is because it doesn't try to do this and it just like has fun with the world it has created. Instead of like trying to they keep adding that they're bigger and better superheroes, but there's no like, we don't have to sit.
But at the end of the day, no matter what the problem is, it's going to be solved by cars.
Right. And we don't have to sit in these long scenes of exposition about it. We just can
we just see it happen.
Accept that cars and these people who drive them well are superheroes and can do anything. And I think when this movie is fun, it's like, here's the sandbox. Let's play instead of let's add more sand.
Yes. I will agree with you on that.
But
again, not without criticism this film, but I did thoroughly enjoy watching this motion picture.
And with that being said, I'm excited for you to see the next one.
I'm truly excited to watch it.
So now that
can't wait to see where it goes. It's gonna happen.
I know. I will not tell you. And I can't really because I only remember the main takeaways and not the details of the story.
Even though this movie was obviously like a huge movie when it came out, like even my child brain, it's like I pretty much only the Mad Magazine comic about it. Like that's that's it.
But now that this podcast has gone on forever, Sarah, do you want to do your thing where you tell people how they can support us?
Yes. So we are on Twitter. Bridget is at Bridget Tweets.
Oh, I could have done that.
3 T's.
3 T's in a row, baby. Bridget Tweets.
Which is almost as bad as me having a fucking underscore in my goddamn app, but it's SK_Griffith. You can follow all of our podcasts on the Small Beans Network. We are supported by our patrons. You can become a patron if you like the shows. You listen to a lot of them. You can kick $3 our way every month. That'd be really cool. You get a lot of exclusive features, some early drops. But if you can't, that's also fine. Thanks for listening is great. Rating, reviewing, and subscribing is also great. Telling your friends.
Even better. It's
also cool to do.
Yeah.
We appreciate you listening.
We appreciate you. You got to the end of this very long episode, and we love you for that. That's incredible. We don't understand it, but we really love it and appreciate it.
Shout out.
Thanks for letting us do this. You're all great, and we'll be back on our 3rd installment.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving.
This has been a Small Beans endeavor. We're a bunch of pals who make podcasts, sketches, music, web series, and movies. The Beans always have new ideas percolating, so make sure to check us out at patreon.com/smallbeans. That's patreon.com/smallbeans, where you can browse all of our current and past content, see what we've got planned in the future, and learn how your support can help the small beans grow into huge, giant monster beans. If you enjoyed this content module, please like, rate, subscribe, or tell a friend about us. We love you!